Hollywood Land. Right, it used to say that, didn't it? Then they got rid of it. And then in BoJack Horseman, it turned to Hollywoo. Huh. Let's see what they have to say about this one. The sign is said to be haunted by early 1900s actress Peg Entwistle. When a possibly career-ending review was published about one of her films, Entwistle climbed to the top of the sign's H and threw herself off of it. She's now called the Lady in White and is said to haunt the sign and the surrounding area. The legend continues to state that the Lady in White will appear to people hiking in the off-limits part of the sign where she had killed herself. Instead of the beautiful Hollywood actress, what appears to these unfortunate people is a woman with a skeletal face and deep, hollowed-out eyes. If those hikers are alone, the Lady in White somehow influences them to share her own cruel fate. Yikes. I mean, yeah, a bad review can be career-ending. Maybe that's how the journalist from the Hotel Cecil got his 3 killings. He wrote 3 bad reviews. No, that might be too morbid, but I mean, come on. I actually didn't know that the Hollywood sign was said to be haunted. I didn't know about this story at all. That's insane. I'm sure plenty of people have gone there and explored and maybe seen the Lady in White. Hopefully not too many people climb up that sign though.
Some locals state that this lake has a passageway to hell if you swim deep enough. The first sighting of the Elizabeth Lake monster dates to the 1830s, when a Spaniard named Don Pedro Corrillo built his ranch on the shores of the lake. His ranch was burnt to the ground that night by an unknown creature. The monster is said to have a giraffe neck, head of a bulldog, 6 legs, and bat wings. The monster is estimated to be 50 feet long and it smells like death.
It smells like death?
At night, the locals would hear screams coming from the lake and they would hear unnatural noises and they would have visions.
I'm sure this narrator is super knowledgeable and loves this topic, but he's not convincing me. It sounds like he's even a book report. What does death smell like? That's what I want to know. I want in the comments immediately, what does death smell like? I'd say maybe rotten eggs and sulfur, or maybe I don't know, blood. Otherwise, there's a lot going on here. A portal to hell at the bottom of the lake. Also a beast. Also that drawing of the beast with Born to Be Evil on his t-shirt. I want that t-shirt. Somebody get me that t-shirt. I'll grow an extra couple pairs of legs if I need to, just to get that t-shirt. Fly around, Born to Be Evil, wearing a chain with a skull on it. Hell yeah. But this whole ranch lake area does sound pretty rough to be around.
There are beautiful mountains from Avila Beach to Monterrey called Santa Lucia Mountains. These mountains are full of life and full of mysteries. Around the twilight hours, these entities known as the Dark Watchers can be seen. The Dark Watchers are ghostly figures that first emerged in the Chumash Indian lore. Paintings on the cave's walls were found depicting the Dark Watchers. When the Spanish settlers arrived into the area in 1602, they were said to have seen the Dark Watchers, which they were called Los Vigilantes Oscuros.
It's terrifying. Do they do anything though? If they're just Dark Watchers, we don't have too much to worry about. They're just watching us. We always feel like we're being watched. Still, that's creepy though. Those piercing white eyes showing up against the dark silhouettes. That's freaky, especially in the mountains. I feel like that's kind of you're hiking there at night, anything can happen, and it's going to be freaky. It's going to be scary as shit. It's going to be nuts. I would like to hike there. I was about to say I wouldn't hike there, but I would like to hike there. I feel like I've been in enough woods at night, but without urban legends, that it's time to really just ramp it up, see what we can find.
Turnbull Canyon is one of the great hiking trails in Los Angeles County. However, there is a more dark and sinister side to this canyon. There's the mountain lions and rattlesnakes, but there's also history of gruesome events, such as satanic rituals, ghosts, hangings, kidnappings, KKK meetings, and even a gravity hill. There's even some claims of seeing UFOs and extraterrestrial activity take place here.
I feel like we started slow and ramped it right up there, Mountain lions and rattlesnakes, and then listing everything, all in the fastest sentence possible. this is an area that I think people should just stay away from. If this is all the case, you know, there's the rattlesnakes and the mountain lions to start with, right? Like that's dangerous, bar none. But then you start getting involved with satanic rituals and UFOs and ghosts and ghouls, demons, goblins, KKK meetings, everything, and the kitchen sink happens here, and it all happens at once. So you better be careful if you're visiting here. My goodness, bring a flashlight.
Dark Watchers is a name given to a group of entities that have appeared in
maybe we'll get more info on the Dark
California
Watchers.
folklore for the past several hundred years, purportedly stalking travelers along the Santa Luisa Mountains. They are almost always spotted around twilight and are usually seen staring upwards toward the sky, standing atop the mountains. They are described as tall, sometimes giant-sized, featureless dark silhouettes, often adorned with brimmed hats or walking sticks.
Yeah, I guess we got some more details this time. That's interesting that they're all wearing like that kind of mountain climber attire, the walking stick, the wide brimmed hat, stalking other hikers. So they must be hikers or pioneers from another time, right? If we're going to be seeing things like that. I'm sure a lot of pioneers hiked through said mountains to try and find California, the land of milk and honey, and didn't quite make it. In fact, I know for a fact there are plenty of people who ended up with that kind of gruesome fate. So I guess this one, this makes a lot of sense considered on the context. The Griffith Park Curse. See, I'm just looking at this image first before I read the description here. It looks like a nice park, you know, you're overlooking a city, you've got a lot of trees, some bushes, a nice walking path. Looks like a nice breath of fresh air, but I'm sure I'm about to read something totally insane. Let's see what we got. The land once belonged to Spanish soldier Jose Vicente Feliz, given to him by a Spanish land grant. After his death, the land passed to Maria Ignacia Verdugo, who had wed one of Feliz's sons, and then it passed to her son, Don Antonio Feliz. It's alleged that Don Antonio's friend, Antonio Colonel, tricked Don Antonio Feliz into giving him the land as Feliz lay on his deathbed. As a result, Feliz's teenage niece, Petronila, cursed the land, saying, "A blight shall fall upon the face of this terrestrial paradise. The cattle shall no longer fatten but sicken on its pastures. The fields shall no longer respond to the toil of the tiller. The grand oaks shall wither and die. The wrath of heaven and the vengeance of hell shall fall upon this place." That is a hardcore curse. You go, niece. My goodness. I'm not so sure that Griffith Park fell to that curse, though, because if we take a look at that picture, it looks pretty green. Looks pretty well-tilled, the soil there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the curse was there for a bit. Maybe, I mean, I don't see people raising cattle on it. Could be the case.
In the 1930s, there used to be a mental hospital located in the canyon somewhere. It had a good run until the 1940s, when it burned down. In 1962, a group of friends were partying in the ruins of the hospital one night. One of the boys saw one of the electroshock devices that were used at the hospital when it was active, and was electrocuted. The voltage was strong enough to kill him, though apparently the electricity had been shut off since the fires happened 20 years earlier.
Ghost shock. Yowza. I mean, as interesting and scary and generally alluring as abandoned hospitals are, there's a lot of dangerous stuff in hospitals. You know, they could have left behind like some old like sharps boxes. They could leave behind old equipment, right? There could be all sorts of rotting nonsense hiding in the eaves. That's wild though, that there's no electricity and somehow this thing discharged enough to kill a grown individual. Ghosts. Electrical ghosts. The Santa Ana winds. All right, looks like a Google Earth image. There are, I think I can see some winds there. Not often you say you can see the wind, eh? They're strong, dry, and hot, and sometimes make you feel as if you're standing in front of a massive open oven. They typically occur in the fall as high-pressure winds in the Great Basin move up at high speed across the desert towards the low-pressure air of the coast. Folks like to pretend that there is something mystical about the winds that can cause people to behave more aggressively than usual. It's Los Angeles' very own Mercury in retrograde. I mean, standing in front of a hot oven can, agitate anyone. I would assume, like, that's just, like, a physiological response. Have you ever, like, dropped something in the hot oven and had to, like, pluck it out so it doesn't, like, smoke up and, like, cause your alarms to go off? Like, that's stressful. With some tongs or an oven mitt, you're like, the whole time. I would say that's what's happening here. I don't know if it's mystical, but it's hot, it's spicy, and it's making people upset, just like me. The Hotel Cecil. When this Art Deco style hotel opened in downtown LA in 1927, it was considered quite posh. However, the Great Depression took its toll and the hotel fell into disrepair. Over time, it became the stuff of nightmares. Serial killer Richard the Night Stalker Ramirez stayed at the hotel in the 80s, and Austrian killer Jack Unterweger booked a room in the hotel in 1991. During Unterweger's stay in Los Angeles, during which he was on assignment as a journalist, he murdered 3 women. That's not what journalists are supposed to do. They're supposed to write stories. They're supposed to do research, investigate. You're not supposed to go killing people, Jack. In 2013, a young Canadian tourist named Eliza Lamb checked into the hotel but never checked out. Her body was found several days later on the roof in one of the hotel's 4 water tanks. Although her death was ruled an accidental drowning, it's still unclear how she ended up in the tank. These grim incidents, combined with several suicides and the unsolved murder of a woman in her room in 1964, have led many to believe that the hotel is haunted or home to some pernicious entity. Yeah, I mean, that does sound about correct, doesn't it? After all that went on there has to be a little something extra going on. Whoever Cecil, they're watching over and causing some problems. My word.
Gravity hills are locations at the base of a slope or hill, where supposedly if you park your car and leave it in neutral, it will somehow roll up the slope of the nearby hill. They are also occasionally known as magnetic hills, gravity roads, or mystery hill. Scientific reasoning often explains that this is an optical illusion which makes it appear as if you are rolling uphill. Supposedly, if you take out a carpenter's level, it will actually prove that you are indeed rolling downhill.
That's just fun. I want to visit one of these just to see what it's all about. That's wicked. That's a great kind of urban legend, especially when there's like videos like that out there just showing you something crazy going on. I want to see this in motion. I want to be there when it happens. I think that's fascinating. I'd like to know more about this particular urban legend.
The slit-mouth woman is a rather disturbing legend surrounding a seemingly ordinary woman wearing a surgical mask as though to protect others from catching her cold. She appears before those walking alone at night, usually children, and asks, "Am I beautiful?" If you answer no, you are killed with a pair of scissors Kushisake Onna carries. If you answer yes, she takes off the mask to reveal her grotesque grin, a mouth that has been slit from ear to ear. "How about now?" she will ask. She will kill you if you say no, and cut you an identical smile if you say yes. Oh man! Okay, so there's just no way you ever want to run into this woman. There's just no way. There's no winning. There's no winning here, because either way, screwed. This is like when somebody asks you, like, kind of a baiting question of, like, obviously they look grotesque and they're like, "Do you look pretty?" And they want you to say yes, like somebody wearing an outfit they love. You can clearly see that they love it, but they also look like a festival clown. And you're like, "Yeah, you really do." And they're like, "Oh my god, that's so great. I bought you one too." And you're like, "Thanks, Nana." So I feel like that's the kind of situation, but much more horrific. Nobody wants to be in that situation. Nobody wants to be given that situation.
Yakumi translates to 100 eyes, and, like its name suggests, Yakumi is covered from head to foot with countless blinking yellow eyes. Underneath those eyes is a fleshy body, roughly man-sized.
Fleshy body.
With its eyes closed, it resembles a pink lump of flesh and is nearly indistinguishable from the Nukapepo. Yakumi make their homes in old temples, guarding them from would-be thieves during the night. During the day, the sky is too bright for their many sensitive eyes, and so they only come out at night.
Good. I will not be going into any temples at night then. Guaranteed. I don't go to temples normally, so I think I'm pretty safe from this one. But man, is he gross. Like, I think one of the reasons I don't like spiders is because they have so many eyes. This would be another reason. The only thing is that it looks kind of squishy, like the kind of squishy that you want to squish, but you shouldn't.
creature was the inspiration for one of the most memorable creatures in the 2006 fantasy drama Pan's Labyrinth, the Pale Man. However, this hideous creature comes straight from Japanese lore and is Tenome. His name means hand-eyes, or eyes on hand, and the legend says that a blind old man was beaten to death by hoodlums. As he lay dying, he wished that he had seen them to know who they were, wishing he'd had eyes on his hands. Because of his rage, he came back as a ghost with eyes on his hands, and now will kill whoever he lays his eyes on.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that is the most terrifying character in that entire movie, and I had no idea it was based on something real. It's unnerving for sure. Oh, God. I don't know whether I'm more creeped out by the actual man himself or the idea of having eyes on my hands. Like, every time you try and lift a pencil, it'll be like, stabbed in the eye. That's inconvenient. Poor guy.
Said to be made up of the bones of unburied people who have died of starvation or at war, the Gasha Dokuro is always hungry. It hides in the woods at night, where it can blend in with skeletal trees, and then attacks unsuspecting passers-by. According to the myths, the only warning that you're being stalked by one of these giant stealthy skeletons is that intended victims will suddenly experience a ringing in their ears. If that happens, be sure to hightail it out of there. Said to be both invisible and indestructible, the only true prevention is a Shinto charm.
I have ringing in my ears all the time. I mean, that's probably more a sign of the fact that I listened to music too loud when I was a kid, but that's not fun. It's also like very sad because like the idea of people just being kind of strewn after they passed away and not properly buried is a very, very sad term, so it makes sense that they would turn into something so sad and hungry. I definitely wouldn't want to be eaten by that. Again, noting the fear of being swallowed whole by absolutely anything and just like slowly digesting. No thank you. No thank you.
The Noble Peppo is a bizarre and creepy creature found in ruined temples, overgrown graveyards, and other dilapidated or rundown areas. This creature is known for its revolting appearance and smell, as it gives off a very strong odour of rotten meat.
Ew.
It looks like a large, flabby, roughly humanoid chunk of flesh about the size of a child, with lumpy, undeveloped hands and feet, and vaguely indiscernible facial features. Nupopeppo appear usually only at night, and are not known to cause any particular harm or mischief, other than generally being disgusting.
Okay, so usually when people create urban legends, it's to prevent young children from approaching, you know, rivers or oceans or forests alone. You know, like the Kelpie in Celtic folklore is to prevent kids from going to the rivers so that they don't drown or whatever. But this is just like, hey, there's a creepy gooey man that smells like meat, rotting meat, but he's harmless, so don't worry about it. Like, I feel like maybe this was a creature thought up to excuse all of the rotting meat, maybe? I don't know. Especially people who live near like a poultry killing farm or something, which I did. I did live near one, and trust me, oh man, is it foul. So, I'm not offended. If I got a pair of nose plugs, I wouldn't be too scared of the guy. Maybe right away I would be, but get to know them. Probably just looking for some love and a good bath. Red Room Curse. The story centers on the idea that a cursed pop-up will appear on a random victim's computer. The pop-up is just an image of a door, and a recorded voice will ask, "Do you like the Red Room?" The pop-up will continue to appear until the voice can finish its question, even if it is closed. Those who see the pop-up are later found dead, the walls painted red with their own blood. That's not fun. I mean, I like the color red. You see me wear red lipstick, but I feel like in terms of horror movies and terms of lore, everything's online right now. You're watching this video online. So it only seems natural that the progression of myths should transfer to the online world in some way, shape, or form. So that is exactly what the Red Room is. It's an evolution of the idea of curses. When it could just very well be a virus that destroys your life and forces you to have no other option but to end it all. Maybe that's the curse of this. Like, maybe it drains your bank account or sends out all of your worst picks. I don't know.
Cursed. It's considered one of the most haunted places in Japan.
Ah, now we're talking.
Several rumors revolve around the tunnel, including its length. Found in Kyoto Prefecture, it's said to be 444 meters long, equivalent to about 1,456 feet, with
Damn.
4 being a suspicious and unlucky number in Japanese tradition. However, it's said to vary in length depending on the time of day, sometimes
What?
longer and sometimes shorter.
Creepy.
Furthermore, it's said to have a particular mirror inside. If you look into this mirror, you will glimpse a vision of your own death.
Oh, good God. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what my own death was, or my own death will be. That just sounds awful. I hope it's a good one, but jeez. I mean, already this kind of tunnel gives me a little bit of claustrophobia, because just the idea of maybe like running through it would be terrifying, because it feel like it would take forever, and at one point you'd be like, oh, it's gonna take as long to go back as it is about to continue, so you might as well keep going forward. But that idea of just a forever dark space is not pleasant to me.
They have either one or
What
two
is
legs,
that?
which they hop around wildly on, a single large eye, and a long, protruding tongue. The Karakaza Kozu is not particularly dangerous as far as Japanese spirits go, mainly keeping to itself and trying to surprise humans.
Woo!
Its favourite method of surprising humans is to sneak up on them and deliver a large, oily lick with its enormous tongue. Caution is advised, however, as there are umbrella spirits which are dangerous to humans, and care should be taken not to confuse them with this more playful spirit.
What? A nice oily lick? That's solid. That's pretty good. I don't know why. Again, like another one that's not supposed to be terrifying, but, you know, tries to scare you, but going, licked ya, gotcha, oops. That's hilarious. You know me, I'm an absolute coward, so I probably would be scared off the bat, but, well, and then annoyed because he licked me and it was oily. Gross. Gross. What's the point? I mean, part of me believes that these creatures are real, because why would you make them up? There's literally no reason. I don't understand.
They wear little boys' kimonos and wide-brimmed hats, the typical outfit of a tofu-selling young boy of the Edo period. They are usually depicted with 2 eyes, but in some
good.
illustrations they appear as having only 1 eye. They are usually found in urban areas in close proximity to people. Tofu kozo are timid and weak creatures, and are not known to be aggressive towards humans.
No.
On rare occasions, a tofu kozo may follow a human home on a rainy night, but for the most part, they shy away from any confrontation.
Oh, okay. I would invite them in for dinner. Why not? I mean, if they're shy, that's okay. And if they don't try and hurt you, that's also fine. And also, if they're not like a weird, creepy, slit-mouthed woman or a googly-eyed jiggly bear, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You can come chill out, but let's make some tofu together. I'm in.
Miracles, and then there's balls to the walls insane luck miracles. And on July 19th, 1957, 5 Air Force volunteers stood at Ground Zero while 2 airplanes flew overhead and dropped an atomic bomb. No, this wasn't a prisoner execution. There were 5 volunteers and a whole lot of miracles happening at once. The bomb went off and the men were unharmed. Even the cameraman was unharmed during the whole ordeal. This was done for military testing, but it is still nothing short of a miracle.
How the heck are those men okay, and the cameraman, after a nuclear bomb is dropped? And if you've seen videos of bombs going off, you know the aftershock and what that's like. It's like a ripple, it's a mushroom cloud, and then everything shoots out like this, and even trees go down. How are these men alright? I want to know what distance they were away from there. But this is why they do those testing sites, those very creepy testing sites back in the, 50s, 60s? Where they would set up, like Nuketown in Call of Duty, little homes and fake families made out of plastic, is what people thought. I know there's rumours that maybe there were real families that they did these tests on as well, to see the effects of radiation.
This amazing footage was captured on the 11th of September 2011 in Jakarta, Indonesia. A glowing winged creature that resembles an angel descends from above and briefly lands on the ground before flying away. When the footage was released, many people were quick to dub the figure the Angel of Jakarta.
Wow.
Some even suggested that it was a protector sent from above to remind the world of the 9/11 tragedy that occurred 11 years earlier.
I think that was a bit of a reach. The end comment.
Some even suggested that it was a protector sent from above to remind the world of the 9/11 tragedy that occurred 11 years earlier.
People thought this was an angel to remind people about 9/11? Okay, yeah, alright. I mean, this video looks incredibly fake. Incredibly fake. Look, I know, I'm the most realistic person. This isn't real. But if this were real, that's absolutely insane. But I feel like this is how you know things are fake. We would all be talking about this if this was real. If this was out there in the world, we'd be like, what the f*** up with this? Did anyone see this? But also, to be fair, there's so many UFO sightings and just like things that the government release that we just don't care about anymore. We're just like, cool. Another UFO sighting? Sick. Like, at this point, we just no longer care. So if an angel landed, we'd be like, cool. Those are legit angels and you can't tell me otherwise. I see a body and I see wings. Yes, this could very well be a fake video, but today I'm feeling optimistic. Anything is possible. Even angels. Angels flying in the sky just living their best damn life, you know? Angels are often in heaven, but this is a fallen angel who was sent to Earth to live amongst us.
September 11th, 2001 is a day all those who were around will remember. For the United States, it was a day that will forever change history. For the world, it was the start on the War on Terror. The memories it left behind will forever haunt those who experienced the events. In its wake, a memorial was made. There, pieces of metal were erected as a sculpture. By nothing short than a miracle, the metal took on the image of an angel, giving hope and comfort to those who were affected by the horrible tragedies that day.
That's crazy. I've never seen that sculpture before, but it certainly does look like an angel. There's a face there, very clear, very distinct. That's sad. Anything to do with 9/11 makes me really upset. That's an odd coincidence that it turned out that way. I've never seen that sculpture. I almost want to. I'm going to New York this summer, if everything's good. And then I'm going to go take a look, and I'll take a picture, and I'll confirm if it's an angel.
Shocking footage was captured in Qutub Minar in Delhi, India. It shows a man and a woman posing for the camera in front of the ancient monument. Suddenly, people start screaming and the camera pans into the sky. A man can be seen flying around the top of the tower. He pauses for a minute before flying off at great speed. The woman can then be heard yelling, "He's coming back now," just as the man flies past the monument once again.
He's coming back now. Jaldi.
That certainly looked like a man. That was legit. And they seemed genuinely scared. This isn't a movie, is it? This looks like real life. I have no idea what's happening here, but that certainly looked, I mean, it kind of looked like a Dementor of sorts flying through the sky, which legit I'd be freaking out, but it's fine. They wouldn't be able to take my soul because I don't have one. Ha 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 ha. That looked very real. Not performing miracles, just scaring the out of people. I think angels are worse than demons. I'd rather be a demon. If someone said, do you want to be an angel or do you want to be a demon? I'd say, I'll be a demon. I already am one. Holy sh**. Wow. Okay, I didn't see him perform a miracle, but he certainly has some kind of powers. And respect. I wish I had powers. This reminds me of the movie, where it's like three boys. They get superpowers, one starts to use them for bad. They're always like flying around and doing things like that. And it's like found footage. I believe so. Anyway, it reminds me of that. I want them powers. Give me them powers.
For 6 years in Japan, there existed a weeping statue of the Virgin Mary that appeared to be weeping over 100 times. Not to be confused with a weeping angel, the weeping Mary's tears were tested by Oxford and found to be, in fact, real human tears. To some, this is a sign of the oncoming apocalypse, where if the world did not repent and come unto Christ, the entire world would be faced by calamities.
An angel statue weeping real tears. I can't explain that. Maybe there's some science behind it, but that's very unlikely. But that's frightening. I mean, at the end of the day, the world's gonna end regardless, whether that be biblical or not. We've killed it with global warming. Asteroids are coming at us left, right, and center. Who knows when one might hit? Or meteorites, should I say. You just never know. It's gonna die one day. Not in our lifetime, not in the next one, but maybe after that. Who knows? Who knows?
It was taken in 2013 by a Baptist pastor at a Promise Keepers concert in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Unbeknownst to the pastor at the time, the photo he took seemingly captured a mysterious figure performing alongside the Christian rock group. There, right in the middle of the stage, is a glowing angelic figure looking over the masses. During the concert, which was held just 2 days before Christmas, the pastor took several photos of the group. This one was taken just as they were singing the lyrics, "Jesus, take all of me, I run to you, I run to you, I lay everything at your feet, let my life be yours."
Okay, this is difficult to explain. I mean, I certainly see a figure there. But if I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, I see there's a lot of lights on that stage, specifically red lights, red backlights. And there could have been something there that was reflecting this light. But it's a bit of a weird coincidence, to be honest. Kind of looks like a figure, and the timing is very interesting. But I also have no trust, although today I said I was going to be an optimist.
Nick O'Donoghue, a software support team manager from Ireland, was returning home after a work ski trip when he saw what many believe to be an angel walking on the clouds. When O'Donoghue posted this picture online, hundreds of users began debating the identity of the mysterious figure. Some said it resembled the robot from the animated film The Iron Giant, while others thought it looked similar to the Cloud Men from Roald Dahl's famous children's story James and the Giant Peach. However, it was the fact that the figure appeared to have wings that many netizens claimed that it could be a real-life angel walking among the clouds, just like those depicted in many Renaissance paintings.
I don't see wings. I don't see wings on that person. At first, I honestly thought that this was snow, and it was someone walking through the snow. And I was like, okay, this guy's kind of cold. Let him in your home. But I realize now someone's in a plane, and someone's walking on the clouds. I mean, are you being honest? This looks like snow. I don't think that's the clouds. I don't see any wings. That looks like a man walking on snow. I can see his shadow. Those clouds are too perfect. You're lying to me. Definitely an angel. Kind of looked like Jesus at first, but then this angel was not Jesus. It was an angel. Again, I have not seen acts of miracles. Very disappointed. I've seen no miracles yet. Just angels living their best life. I want someone to be saved by an angel. I want an angel to come down from heaven, swoop someone up, fly them around. Phobophobia is the fear of snakes. Oh, yeah. It is possibly the most common subcategory of herpetophobia, the fear of reptiles. Yes, okay, so I have this phobia quite intensely, as people know. I didn't even realize it was a snake. It's so green that it looked like just green. I didn't even see a snake there. Yes, snakes are absolutely terrifying. Just the idea that there could be a snake. Sometimes I get it in my head, like, if I'm not looking at my feet, I think there could be a snake at my feet and I don't know. But I know there's not because I'm like in a condo in Canada amongst concrete. There's no snakes here. Acluphobia is fear of the dark. Aklup is Greek for darkness and phobia means fear. It is one of the hundreds of phobias that affects millions of Americans. It is simple phobia, meaning it is specific to the environment of darkness. Okay, to be fair, I fear the dark. I don't have a crippling fear of the dark, like I can go to bed with my lights off, but I do get that fear when I have to get up in the middle of the night and that all the lights are off and I have to go to the bathroom, you know? I think everyone kind of fears the dark because it's the fear of the unknown, that something might be lurking in the shadows. I don't fear like supernatural, paranormal stuff in the dark, like ghosts or demons. Like, nah, I invite them. But more so like walking home at night alone. And that's also because I'm a woman, so I have other fears that men might not. Hemophobia is an extreme fear of seeing blood or getting tests or shots where blood may be involved. This phobia can have a serious impact on your life, especially if you skip important doctor's appointment. Okay, I'm laughing because I literally just had this conversation with my friend the other day. We were talking about blood work, and I can't remember how the conversation came up, but she was talking about how she had blood taken, and I was like, oh, I always have to look when blood is getting taken, specifically out of here. I have to look, but I think it comes from a place of nerves, is that when I'm looking, I get the giggles. So I must look insane to nurses because they're literally drawing blood from my arm and I'm staring at it and laughing. Why am I that crazy? But yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's a form of control, like because someone's literally got a needle in your arm and is taking something that belongs to you. So I think it's me having to look. I need to watch it happening. Astrophobia is the extreme fear of thunder and lightning, and it can affect people of all ages, though it may be more common in children than adults. It's also seen in animals. Many children who have this fear will eventually outgrow it, but others will continue to experience the phobia and into adulthood. See, this one's insane to me. I completely understand the fear. But for me, and I'm sure many others, thunder and lightning is really relaxing, and I don't know why. Like, it's why so many people listen to like weather sounds or like the sounds of rain to calm them down or help them sleep. Thunder and lightning is so therapeutic to me, and I don't know where that comes from. There's got to be a rhyme and reason for it, and if someone knows, let me know. But yeah, it really makes me feel good. Like when it rains or when it storms, I feel so like comforted. Like I feel so like homey, and like I just want to curl up into a ball with a sweater on and read a book and drink a hot chocolate. Pognophobia is a word that refers to an intense fear of dislike of beards. Like other phobias or irrational fears, pognophobia may seem silly to people who do not experience it, yet for thousands of sufferers worldwide, it is a very real fear that often affects their mental health and well-being. Oh my god. Like honestly, I don't like beards. If you know me, you know why. I have a preference. It's not for beards. But that's crazy. Yeah, when I see a man like this Hagrid picture, when I see that, I just think of dirt. Like dirty food in a beer. But yeah, I can't imagine having a fear like it gives me a panic attack or I can't focus because of a beard. But yeah, my preference is no beard. Catatrophobia is an abnormal and persistent fear of mirrors, often caused by negative past experience. Sufferers of this experience undue anxiety about encountering mirrors. This phobia can become quite irrational if left untreated. Is this a fear of seeing one's like own appearance? Or is it come from, I know mirrors, some people believe mirrors to be the gateway to the spirit realm sometimes. Is that I don't understand where the fear comes from, whether it's the fear of looking at yourself, maybe it comes from like a deep hatred of how someone appears or how you see yourself, or if it's to do with something else and something more paranormal or supernatural. I don't know, but that's frightening. Yeah, there are some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, cover that up. Acmephobia is a phobia of sharp-pointed objects. Those affected will feel anxious, worried, and fearful around any object that is sharp and could cause harm. This could include pencils, pens, needles, pins, scissors, and other common household items. Holy shit. Okay, so being scared of just sharp things. I mean, understandable. They can be dangerous, but fearing a pencil, can't relate. Pencil reminds me of school. And I feared school. School sucked. I feared school just because I wasn't academic in that way. Although I'm now an academic, which is weird. It's like now I would kill school. But it's also because I'm 28 now. Aerophobia, fear of flying. It's called aerophobia. Fear of getting on a plane can be a heritage from childhood, or it can emerge from adulthood as a result of various triggering factors. I get this one completely. I know so many people who have a really hard time flying. I've flown with people who have a hard time flying. I'm a good flyer. I always have been. But the older I get, the more that fear is coming. And I don't understand why. And I think it's because the older you get, the more you have going on, the more you have to live for. No, I don't know what it is. There's more stress. There's more fear. The realization, you start to question more as you get older. So the more I fly, I used to fly a lot, especially when I lived in Alaska. I was flying everywhere, many times a year, and the flights to get to Alaska were a lot. Like, I had to take 2, sometimes 3 planes just to get there. So then the idea got into my head that the more I was flying, the greater my chance was getting of being on a plane that went down. And that was such a horrible thought that now every time I get on a plane, I have to visualize that that's my last moment. Isn't that bleak? Electrophobia is a rare condition characterized by an intense fear of chickens. The word comes from the Greek word elector, which means rooster, and phobia, which means fear. It's considered a specific phobia. This refers to an irrational fear of a specific object, place, or situation. Oh my god, there's people out there who have a fear of chickens. I mean, a group of chickens could be quite scary, to be honest, if they're all coming at you. But I can't imagine having a fear of them. I mean, I like them, I eat them. So, I mean, sorry, no offense to vegans or vegetarians. Nephophobia is the fear of clouds. Presence of clouds or even taking pictures of clouds can cause anxiety. The fear of maybe developed from traumatic events in the past or even due to hereditary or genetics. It's got to be the way they look. Maybe that they're so puffy. Like, I don't know. That's really strange. I mean, I fear clouds when I'm on a plane because it means turbulence. I can't even imagine having a fear of clouds. They're so soft. They seem so nice, especially on a sunny blue sky day. It's very pretty.
Biz buraya bir girelim gel.
Aa şu içeri girdi.
Remzi az bir çek. Yukarı çıkıyoruz. Emin misin abi? Abi ne oluyor?
My heart, when I tell you my heart dropped and my stomach flipped, I was not expecting that. That was really scary. At first, I thought someone was running down the stairs. Oh no, it's like some big thing. It's like a mattress or something, or a box spring gets thrown down the stairs. That's frightening. That's terrifying. That stopped my heart for a second. Well done, Urban Explorers. You got me there. What's that? Oh my god, I hate this. And I hate that it's just ever so slightly out of focus. It's really bothering me.
Hello? Shh. Jesus Christ!
Oh.
Whoa!
I like that created a ripple effect where it was like a pitcher fell and then it fell into a broom and then that broom fell into more pitchers and they all just kept shattering down the wall. It was like a Final Destination scene where one thing triggers literally everything else. Like, what can go wrong will go wrong. Final Destination, classic.
Playing COD? And look at this door! You cannot make this up. Look at this. Bro. Nobody is home. My family is in Cancun, bro. You gotta be kidding me. Bro! What the Bentley? Bro.
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?
Well, I think the good sign is that the dog was not freaking out. And as we know, animals sense paranormal activity in the home. They know when a ghost is around. That dog was chill. He did not give a shit. This seems so real. Like, the guy seems genuinely terrified. I respect that. But because the dog was not freaking out, I think he's fine. I would say electrical malfunction, toilet flushing itself. I have no idea. That's so weird. Unless it's just a really chill dog and he does not care. He invites the ghosts. He's like Son of Sam, the 1,000-year-old dog, who is also the devil. What's that green light? Is it the Green Fairy? Kylie Minogue in Moulin Rouge. Is that green light making that table do that?
Though again, other objects in motion were noticed too.
What's this reoccurring green light? What the happening here? That's so weird. There's no way that doll moved on its own. That had a string attached and it was pulled back so smoothly. Also, what's with this green light? Is someone shining that, or is it just like a ghost thing? It's like when there's a ghost, they emit a green light, because this is new to me. That doll sliding, you cannot convince me for a second, and I will not humour you for a second that that was real. That doll was not moving on its own.
Bismillah. Bismillah.
He encounters something quite thrilling as he's in a room.
Bismillah. Bismillah.
What did we encounter? I for sure thought someone was going to pop up in the mirror there. Was the door moving on its own? I swear he was pushing it. What did we see? There was nothing there. Don't lie to me. I saw with my eyes nothingness. I really thought someone was going to be in the mirror. I was prepared to like kind of myself a little bit, but thank God that didn't happen.
Whoa.
To be fair, this is like an episode of Hoarders. There's so much shit around this abandoned building that it's no surprise that things are moving and rattling and making noise because there's so much crap on that floor. Someone needs to clean it up. Someone needs to get their life together.
Iniciar por esta. Vamos a ver qué es lo que hay aquí. Se ve que hay algunos muebles antiguos que ya están llenos de tierra, que ya están. ¡Ay! No, ¿viste? Melissa se movió. Llenos de tierra, que ya están. ¡Ay! No, ¿viste? Melissa se. Sí, pues esto es como un hueso, ¿no?
It's all over the place.
Ay, Dios. Espera, no me agarres. Ay, ¿qué es esto? Ay, Dios.
Okay, this video is all over the place. I'm so confused, but I know it's some sort of paranormal supernatural thing going on here. First of all, it's the cupboard opening, closing on its own, and then they find something bound and buried. What is it that's bound? I assume it's some kind of like ritual thing, you know, like in the Blair Witch Project when they find all the things wrapped up in the woods and the things hanging, like a ritual, getting ready. That's what this is here. Someone's put a curse on them. Someone's about to, how do I put this pleasantly? Give them to Satan? Give them to the devil. What the fuck's that? What the hell is that?
From the look of this strange anomaly, this does not appear to be your average orb. Instead of being one solid ball of light, this anomaly looks to be a cluster of smaller lights, all floating together as one.
Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Also, the man's voice really scared me when it kicked in because I wasn't expecting him to start talking. I was just prepared to watch, and I was watching and enjoying. But as soon as he started talking, that freaks me out. To me, yes, it was a cluster of lights, but it looked like, first I was like, oh, fairy, classic fairy, box standard fairy. And then it looked like a tiny little witch, it looked like a tiny little witch riding a tiny little broom. So that's what I'm going with. My gut tells me it's a tiny little witch riding a tiny little broom. Just seems right.
There was no additional information for this video, or at least I couldn't find any. So, what could this be? A real shadow person creeping around in the dark corners of her grandfather's apartment? Or simply just a trick of the camera? It's pretty creepy.
Okay, first of all, we have to address how come with every horror channel, the voiceover is horrible and creepy, and like the drawl is so strange? Like, I can't even mimic it. It's so bizarre. It's like, people don't speak this way. And if they do, why are they all doing these channels? Like Chills and this guy, like, everyone sounds the same. Why are they doing it like that? Is this a thing people like? Is it like ASMR? Because I don't like it. Also, the background, it kind of looks like sky there. Is that not an open door? Or a balcony? Or a patio or something? And someone's just walking by? Could be. Or it's a ghost man. I mean, it's one or the other. I'm going ghost man. Can only be the case here. An invisible force is sewing. Okay, I think this one's a bit of a reach. I didn't see no shadow man. It kind of looks like the sewing machine's malfunctioning. Nothing else was going on. There wasn't even any fabric moving. You think a ghost is going to waste its time being like on the machine and no fabric in it? Doubt it. Need some threads.
Deep fakes will make it impossible to tell what's real. Deepfakes are typically created using AI assistants along with existing footage of people. While there are some ways to detect them now, it's unlikely that they'll improve as time goes by. As reported by the New York Times, media companies are already preparing to create tools that try and detect deepfakes before they do too much damage, but the clock is already ticking on the first deepfake video that will make headlines across the world. Absolutely. I don't know if there's any like fail-safe technology that might override like a simple alibi or something, but definitely freaky. You gotta wonder if there's gonna be any like laws put in place like with the use of deepfake technology, just based on how much people could use it to cause irreversible harm. My goodness, you could just like put somebody's face in another person's body, potentially in some compromising positions, which I think is the major use for it right now, but definitely as politics gets more and more on the internet, I mean, how can it be more on the internet than it is right now? But boy, we could see some very famous faces in some very questionable situations and not really know what to think of it. Although it does take a very powerful computer, and of course all the powerful computers on Earth right now are being used to mine crypto, so we'll see which one has the higher profit margin. That's the one that'll win out. The internet may break apart. Well, I mean, come on, Kim K already did it, guys. Kim K broke the internet. Don't you remember, guys? Come on. Dubbed by experts as the Splinternet or the Internet Cold War, it's reaching a point where a global internet becomes a problem for countries who can't get along with each other offline either. The Splinternet will be multiple concurrent internets that aren't connected but are separated based on regions or ideologies or any other things. Russia is already in the process of launching their own separate internet, according to PC Magazine. North Korea is believed to have one for several years, and China has a de facto isolated internet thanks to the so-called Great Firewall, which blocks access to anything the Chinese government deems to be a problem. Wow. Yeah, and I thought the people that had access to the same internet but were getting different ideas was an issue. But if we have multiple internets, then we're like probably gonna end up living in different realities. Like, so much for globalism. Like, everybody is going to believe what they're reading online in that moment, probably uncritically too. I feel like most people are very uncritical with the information they're presented, which is fascinating and terrifying. I feel like we already have that kind of splinternet going down, right? Like, different people on Twitter following different people and getting their information down different pathways, and then kind of just like falling down a rabbit hole, and then that's where they are, right? Like, people on the right, people on the left, everybody has like found I guess a community, but also like a very isolated aggressive, combative community against all the other communities. So to add in the ability to totally separate entire countries will only worsen and embolden the least good of all of us. Oh boy. Killer robots are coming. Oh. Humans need things like food and sleep and can generally only control a single vehicle at a time. This can be surpassed by the use of LAWs, lethal autonomous weapons. Wait, what? Food and sleep and controlling a single vehicle at one time can be subverted by bringing in deadly robots, lethal autonomous weapons, as reported by Vox. Laws are like drones but are completely piloted by AI and require no human intervention. More important is the L in the name, lethal. Lethal autonomous weapons are authorized to kill without human oversight. Are you sure? Like, are you sure? Is it like what? Are they double O's now? Did James Bond get passed up for a drone? Do the drones drink martinis? I gotta know. I understand, we have AI piloting things without human oversight. Like, there are, self-driving cars. There are drones that can fly around without people piloting them. There are the Boston Dynamics robot dogs that are being integrated into police forces. But, like, are we sure that these things just, can take over the world and they have the authority to do so? Like, did we give them that authority to just kill people? If it kills somebody, it's no bad. You know what? Maybe it's true. I feel like self-driving cars have caused some deaths so far, and really nobody's answered for it. So maybe it is true. Maybe not in the way that a government has stepped up and said, yes, these robots can kill people. Good luck. It's more like technology and big companies with lots of money have come together and said, oopsie whoopsie, we made a killing people machine, but we didn't mean to, sorry. A solar storm. Nostradamus predicts that a large solar storm will hit the Earth in 2021 and cause massive damage and destruction. He said the sea level will rise, causing the Earth to drop below sea level. At the same time, he also believes that disasters will spread across the world, there will be large-scale migrations, and people will kill each other in order to grab the remaining natural resources. Eventually, war will break out. So let's go through this bit by bit here. So the solar storm, I'm not so sure what a solar storm is. It's to do with the solar system, it's to do with the cosmos. He said the sea level will rise, causing the Earth to drop below sea level. That's already happened. We're there. Like, people are giving up their waterfront properties because soon they're going to be flooded and crappy. We're there. It's happening. At the same time, he believes disasters will spread across the world. I mean, we can probably count where we're at right now as a disaster, right? And there probably will be more, let's be honest. Large-scale migrations, true, happened in the last 5 years. People will be killing each other in order to grab the remaining natural resources. True, toilet paper. Eventually, war will break out. We'll see. We're getting there. 2009 KF1. Nostradamus asserted that the Earth will be hit by a comet in 2021 and cause a series of natural disasters. Is a comet the same as a solar storm, or is this something else? Let's move on. People will see a long string of sparks and flames in the sky. In fact, it may be true. Oh my god. Oh my god. National airlines. See, this NASA asteroid 2009 KF1 probably killing the Earth. Forecast May 6, 20. Oh, that was yesterday. Oh boy. But no, in the news right now, we've seen this, right? The Chinese government launched a rocket, but also with the rocket went one of the structures supporting the rocket, right? So somewhere over the next weekend, this thing is going to drop from orbit. It's like a 2-story structure. It's going to drop from orbit and land somewhere, and nobody knows where. Maybe this is that, because we haven't seen this comet. It hasn't touched down yet, but this, as it enters the atmosphere, it's going to spray sparks. It's going to start breaking down. I think we're uh-oh. Coronavirus. That was a prediction? The Great Plague of the Maritime City. It will not cease until death is avenged. Of just blood condemned for a price without crime, Nostradamus wrote. And even though Wuhan isn't a maritime city at all, scientists found that COVID-19 started and was spread in the city's seafood market. It was a wet market, yeah? Interesting. I mean, this happened last year. Didn't it happen like literally like at the end of 2019? So I don't know if this is a 2021 prediction that came true. Questionable on this one. Chip implants. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the COVID-19 vaccine will also include a microchip that could enforce body control for human beings. There is no evidence to this. Elon Musk has already developed the Neuralink, a chip intended to cure neurological diseases. Didn't he actually invent that to like make a monkey play video games and then make some memes about it? I feel like that's Elon Musk's actual goal. He doesn't like actually want to help anybody. He just wants to make a bunch of memes, which you go, man. But do you need billions of dollars for that? Maybe not. Maybe just give some hospitals some money instead of spending money on your meme chip. The big war. Nostradamus also predicted that a big war would tear apart an Occidental giant. And while that hasn't happened in terms of an actual war, there has been an ongoing economical war between China and the US. Also, China has already beaten, and it's in brackets there, I don't know, the COVID-19 pandemic, and their economy continues to rise, while the US is still struggling to contain the spread. Interesting. I don't want to say too much on this one, just because I'm not an economist, I'm not a political scientist, but I mean, you know, COVID did start in China, but then they shut everything down pretty quick over there, unlike some Western countries that I may or may not live beside and in. But like they shut it down like hardcore. It wasn't like a soft lockdown. It was like a lockdown, you know what I mean? And people at the time were like, brr, human rights, China has, you know, crushed their people under the foot of COVID and made them stay home, but then it was done for them, you know? Also, I mean, conspiracy theory, China is very careful with what they present to the world, right? It's quite possible that they say that they have no new cases, and it might not be entirely true. So we'll see how this develops over time. A preliminary 5.8 magnitude earthquake shook the eastern part of Central California, according to the USGS. What is that? The United States Geological Society? Residents across Central California reported feeling the quake, as did people in some parts of Northern and Southern California. Waves were felt in the Los Angeles basin, 200 miles away from the epicenter. Yeah, I mean, I think quakes are relatively common over there. That doesn't seem like a really crazy one. I guess we can count that as a natural disaster. More like a natural happening, I think. Maybe a natural perchancement. A thing that occurred that was natural. Maybe not a disaster. Capitol Hill. Oh yeah. In the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror XXXI, I don't know my Roman numerals. It's US Election Day in 2020, and Homer sleeps right through it. We're then shown Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021, and full-on chaos has ensued. Yep, this one was interesting. I feel like that was like a lifetime ago, you know? Like, I feel like so much has happened since, and like, I don't even know. January, man. But yeah, like they were interestingly prescient in predicting some sort of riotous behavior leading up to Inauguration Day, post-election. Yeah, The Simpsons, you know, they write everything, right? They just write so many scenarios and cover so many topics. Of course the US was going to descend into violence because of the result of a highly contentious election. Like, fantastic prediction. Mwah! 10 out of 10.